We love talking
Yeah,
about
I just love
music. So
talking
here we
about
are.
music. Oh my
Me, me,
goodness.
me. Yep.
Really, I was thinking of last minute people that that we lost too soon, like Stevie Ray Vaughan. You
Stevie Ray
know,
Vaughan.
he
Yep.
was incredible. Richie Valens, Buddy Holly.
I
You
know
know,
they may not have been part of this club, but they are
they were too
gone too
young.
soon. Definitely.
Hmm.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show. And I'm here with my friend Heather, Indigo
Hi,
Jaguar
everybody.
Intuitive Arts. Yes,
Thank you for
and
inviting me. I
we
love
tried to
doing
do
this.
this before Heather got COVID, and I'm so glad that she came
Yes,
back.
thank you, Ellie, for being so patient, waiting till
We had more
to get
time.
back
That's
into the
all.
swing of
Yeah.
it. Yep.
Uh-huh. So yeah, today is kind of me and my fluidity, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm kind of fluid on everything. I just really wanted to make mention of the 27 Club, and
Hmm.
if anybody had any questions about it, I did not personally realize that there are 54 members of the 27 Club, according to illustrious Wikipedia. Um, and
Yeah.
there are a lot of people that we've lost that, of course, aren't in the 27 Club because they were either younger or older, including, when you think about it, you could even add a 32-year-old to it who would have been Karen Carpenter. She was too
Yeah.
young to die. So I think Heather came on early and she was chatting with the chat and asking who
Hmm.
people really love. And so I think that's fascinating to
Yeah,
check and see.
and
Hello,
Serena
Melinda.
mentioned Aaliyah.
Yeah. Hi,
Aaliyah's
Craig.
another one, and Lisa Left
Uh,
Eye from
Lisa
TLC,
Lefania Lopez. Yep.
Amy
Um,
Winehouse.
Amy. We have
Now
Kurt Cobain
she could
with the
have had.
27 Club.
Oh
I'm
my
not
God, her
I'm
voice.
not the most invested in these people
Yeah.
that have died. They're
Yeah.
not really, a lot of them aren't my music, but I do find that it's fascinating that there are so many people that died
Yeah.
at 27 or around 27. Yeah. But
Even non-musicians. We were talking about George Carlin and how Jim Belushi passed away too young,
yes,
and
Chris
so
Farley. Yeah.
Chris Farley. Yeah, with
Yep.
with his weight and his drug problem, and
Uh-huh.
I've noticed that with a lot, like one of my ones that I brought up, I mentioned in the chat and with Allie backstage, Steve Clark, the
Oh,
founding
from Def Leppard.
guitarist of Def Leppard. He
Uh-huh.
actually had a really bad anxiety. He dealt with anxiety, depression, and he always was afraid that like he wasn't good enough. And there were times
Oh,
after
wow.
he passed, you would hear that he would try to hit his fist into the wall before a show, seeing if he could break something so he couldn't play because it got that too much for
Wow.
him. And
Yeah.
to try to balance that, and with the
Uh-huh.
touring, of course, what do a lot of band members do? They get on the drugs. It's like, here's a
Yeah.
little bit of coke
Drugs
to
and
get your
alcohol.
energy up, give them
Right.
courage, and then they got to drink something to calm down. I mean, it's a real awful
It's a
roller
cycle.
coaster.
Yeah, it
And we
does.
lost him too
Becomes a
young.
cycle.
We really
Yep,
did.
absolutely.
27. Mm-hmm.
So I do want to say hello and thank you for celebrating the firing of Tucker Carlson. They said, I just saw another article I haven't read yet that says we'll probably get somebody much worse. And I don't know if you can get anybody worse than him, but let's hope not. Maybe
Yeah,
Don
hope
Lemon
somebody
will
says hold
go
my
on.
beer.
I
No.
know.
But I
Hi,
think Fox
Scorpio
knows better
Mama.
now. I
Uh-huh.
really think Fox knows because right now, with everybody getting indicted and people getting
Yeah.
questioned,
Don't you think these people are being eclipsed out? Isn't
yeah.
that what we're seeing? The
Mm-hmm.
eclipse is
Well,
working
we
and
just
get rid
had New
of.
Moon, the
Yep.
eclipse.
Yep.
So,
We
and
did.
it's
We did.
sad to say too, like I just found out that Ivana Intuitive lost one of her fur babies over the
Yes, I
weekend.
saw that.
My
Yeah.
friend Nikki lost her fur baby. Another friend is her baby. So I think a lot of we're
Yeah.
losing a lot, and
We're
it's
losing a lot in this eclipse. Yeah. Yeah.
but at the same
Yeah.
time, especially our fur babies, they'll be with us. So hopefully,
Definitely. Yeah.
releasing the bad will help bring in the good. So that's all you really can
The
hope
other
for,
thing is
really.
with the music, we may lose the artist, but we never lose their
Use their
music.
music.
They become, immortalized through what
Hmm.
we can always listen and we can always
Yeah.
feel one with them again. So, I just want to finish saying hello to everybody. Hi,
Hmm.
Anne, and hi, Patricia Franzino and Amy. It's nice to see you
And we
here.
have Dina Shawwoman, Lauren, Flowing.
Okay.
Oh, I like seeing. I always get all, I just get all warm and fuzzy inside when I, see all the familiars,
I
that
know.
popped in there
I
supportive.
know.
It's like, oh, the friends
Teresa,
are all here. The game's
I
all here.
know. Teresa Levine, you're right. We always love
Hmm.
that. Yes. Melinda's here. Thank you for being here, Melinda.
Yes, Meredith.
And yes. And Lauren Hunsinger. Who else is here?
I
Oh,
think
yeah,
we got
Joe.
everybody. Patricia. Yeah, Teresa
Mary.
is usually one of the very first waiting in my chat.
Uh-huh.
So,
Mary
let me see.
Thornberry. How are
Hmm.
you? Yeah. Oh, yes, Flowing. I haven't seen you in a while. It's so wonderful to see
Hmm.
you. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. So I don't know, Heather. I'm wondering, do we read on, instead of the individual members of the 27 Club, if
Okay.
maybe we read on the collective and why these people maybe chose the path they did to check out at 27. And I mean, there's a lot of them that you probably don't know their names, but they
No.
were like, a lot of them were in bands. There was one in the Grateful Dead. There was one in Badfinger. There was one in Uriah Heep. There was one in a band
Old
called the
school.
Minutemen. Yeah.
Yep.
And what was the other
I
one?
mean, look at, and one of the
Rolling
greats too, John
Stones.
Bonham, from
Mm-hmm.
Led Zeppelin. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't 27, but he was close,
Yep.
he wasn't
Close
far
to
from
that
it.
age. Yep.
Yeah.
The Jimi Hendricks, of course, and Big Brother and the Holding Company,
Janice
Echo and the
Joplin.
Bunnymen. Never heard of some of these. A
Oh, Echo
guitarist
and
for
the
Reba
Bunnymen, we
McEntire.
lost someone. Oh, wow. I didn't
Who
know
did?
that. Echo
What?
and the Bunnymen. That was 80s. I didn't know we lost somebody from Echo and the Bunnymen.
Yeah, there was something in here from Echo. It was the drummer, Pete DeFreitas.
Okay.
Did you know him? Pete DeFreitas, the drummer of Echo and the Bunnymen. Let's
Wow.
see. Yeah, I mean, some of these are not names that we will all recognize, but there are 54 listed, and some of them actually are listed as passing in the 19th century and the 20th century.
Mhm.
And many of them, I thought they were all drug induced, but no, we had some murders and some
Yeah.
accidents and some cancer and things like that. So, but if you ever read about soul contracts, then you know that we pretty much make a contract to live a life in a certain way. And if it isn't working for us, many times we can leave early. We have several
Yeah.
checkups. Now, this is just something that I've read. I'm not the expert on it. But I think that finding out why they agreed to this sort of soul contract would be
Yeah.
very fascinating. So let's go. Let's do
So
it.
I was already starting to shuffle cards.
Good.
And I'm not surprised really. I got all pentacles.
Oh, okay.
But I just was that general energy between, and we all know that a lot of people want the wealth, they want the fame, they love the money,
Yeah.
material gain.
Ah,
I
yes.
got Princess of Pentacles, and a lot too for me. The Pentacles also represents being that down to earth. So not only are they being thrown into, they're typically very down to earth people. King of
Mm-hmm.
Pentacles. They I know like a lot of them, like with Kurt Cobain, for instance, they did they wanted the fame, but at the same time, when they got it, he couldn't handle it. A lot of these musicians can't handle it because they are very down to earth. They're very
Yeah.
artistic. They're in connection with their creativity. They need that security. They need that stability, and sometimes they just don't realize, or they may think, well, I can handle it differently, or it won't be the same for me. But
Mm-hmm.
they're very down to earth, and then they get thrown into this limelight where everybody knows what you're doing. It seems that every time they're constantly following you. So I'm feeling like with these cards and with the wealth, that was at the
Mm-hmm.
bottom of the deck, the
Mm-hmm.
lobby energy. Oh, let me go close my window. Somebody's honking
All
outside.
right.
Let me be right back.
Okay. So yes, I agree with you, Miss Moonlight Musing, that hard work is probably exactly what drove them. And yet it became such that I would imagine, like most people, they can't even walk to the store without being recognized. That's another thing, the notoriety. All right, Heather,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Yep.
Oh no, I just want to make sure. I had someone honking out there, and I didn't want
Yeah.
anybody to have to hear that. But no, those were like
Okay.
the initial cards that I got. They're all Pentacles, Princess of
Yeah.
Pentacles, King of Pentacles. Just not being able to handle, the scrutiny.
Yeah.
And what I love about the King of Pentacles and this one here is that halo, that light, and that divine connection to spirit. So, and also too, with a lot of musicians, people with a very strong creative background. I'm
Uh-huh.
not saying all, but a majority, a lot of us do suffer with some sort of anxiety, like a mental health. I mean, look at Van Gogh. Look at
Yeah.
a lot of these other Mark Rothko. A lot of people are like, "Who is this?" But these were famous. Well, everyone knows Van Gogh, but like with Mark Rothko, and there was another, I can't pull his name off the top of my head right now. Very talented artist, very well known, but the feeling of not being able to measure up, or not feeling like they could do anything with their work. I mean,
Mhm.
it just seems
Mhm.
to sometimes gravitate more to people from a creative personality, because we're so empathic, we're so intuitive, we're so connected with how we're tapping creatively, that a lot of it does bring a burden, and
Mhm.
they feel judged, or they don't want to be judged. And
Right.
sometimes for them, the only way out to escape that is through, um,
Mhm.
whether accidentally or not. Also, this year we lost Aaron Carter, Nick Carter's brother from the Backstreet
Yep.
Boys. He'd been suffering, but from that point on, a lot of that had to do with mental health as well, addictions, family. So there's so many different things that play into, um, I think, someone's, choice to either take their own life, or the way that they do die early is because they're such creative, empathic, beautiful souls, that the only
Mhm.
way they can seem to handle everything that comes down around them is through a vice.
Mhm.
And
So at this particular 27 club, um, they said that a lot of people just realized a lot of people died at that age, that it was more of an urban myth than it was something that was intentional. But at the same time, we just mentioned, and it is true, that a lot of other artists died around that age, or, certainly before
Mhm.
40 years old, and should be included in this group of people, although
Yeah.
they did this on purpose. And so Mary says a lot of drugs, and with that kind of fame, money, and anything you want, it can change you, and you're young and confused, but still with all this talent. Yeah. And you have no downtime, really. You're not
No.
thinking in terms of downtime at that age. You're like, oh, I can do anything. I'm
Mhm.
invincible. So what I wanted to note was that there is Amy Winehouse on this list, and there is
Mhm.
Janice Joplin on this list. And
Mhm.
in my estimation, both of these ladies, they're really good in their own right, they had a male energy, I believe, a
Mhm.
more male energy than a lot of other women do. Not that that's wrong, nothing wrong with it.
Oh no,
But I'm wondering if,
definitely.
first one I get is knife. So they don't know when to cut off what they're doing. They just keep going, keep going, keep going. And they hide their emotions, and their betrayals cut deep, because there are betrayals in this type of industry as well. But this is why I brought up about the girls. It seems to be mostly men that do
Wow.
this. Yeah, yeah. And we do have the two girls, or maybe more, but from those two, from what I have noticed, they have very deep and set in male energy. Um, and it's very interesting because I pulled an angel card, and I think they just want us to know that they are being protected and always were protected by the angels. But it might have been a contract. It might have been a contract that they made to begin with, that said, I'm going to try it for as long as I can. And if it doesn't work out, then I'm checking out at a certain point. And of course, you can do that at any point when you're making your sacred contract, and you don't even really realize it. So, wow, fascinating,
And something
fascinating.
too I learned about Janice Joplin is that just before her passing, she was ready. She was pretty much about had enough. Her solo album had come out. She
Uh
wanted
huh.
to do a different musical direction, but what she really wanted to do was start a family.
Sure.
And
And yeah, she was such a heroin addict. Oh my God. Yeah.
I did pull some cards though for Janice because I do love Janice, and I did
Okay.
get the Six of Cups, Six of Emotions,
Uh
for
huh.
her. That constant, looking in the mirror, trying to connect with, and this is so just kind of almost like the sadness, kind of like
Hmm.
why can't I, embrace that inner child again? Because that was her when you saw her, her clothes, her style, her boas, she was just like,
she was she was something
everybody,
else.
this is who I am, a very playful. Then I
Uh-huh.
got the Four of Swords, wanting that foundation, but also here wanting the rest. She really
Uh-huh.
needed to rest. She really needed that downtime. Two of Cups, different relationships, and I think this might too have to do with her relationship with, because she loved her. She was heroin addict, but boy, did she love her whiskey. She was a
Uh-huh.
whiskey girl.
And
They said
wasn't
she
Amy
really,
like that too? Didn't Amy
yes,
do that too? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
she loved. They said she could really trick the men under the table. And then of course that beautiful Empress card at the bottom, just kind of reflecting that yes, she was in touch with, her feminine, and she really wanted, you know to have that family. She wanted to be a mother,
Uh-huh.
um and she just, because of, you know not being able to get her vices, I'll just say, under control, you know
Uh-huh. Yeah. Wow. Well, I pulled some cards for Jimmy.
okay.
Jimmy, up here in Seattle, we have a museum, and a lot of Jimmy's stuff is for a rock and roll museum, and you can go to it. And then the next door to it is a science fiction museum. It's kind of cool that they have both of these in the same place. But Jimmy was from Seattle, and Jimmy looked at dying as a leveling up. He said, I graduated, I did everything I wanted to do. And I know Freddie Mercury admired him, and,
Mm.
and was very important to his music career. So I think Jimmy just felt like, you know, I got to go to Woodstock, I got to do all the cool things, and now he says sometimes he thinks back on the times that he was here,
Mm-hmm.
and he misses, being in the flesh, but it's very possible he could even be back here by now. I don't know. But he said he had a lot of secrets, and there were a lot of things that people didn't know about him, and that he doesn't want to divulge it. And at the time, you didn't have your secrets divulged as easily as you do now. So he said it was
Mm-hmm.
just time for me to go. It was time. I saw the writing on the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, with Jimmy, I got Ace of Pentacles. Again, Pentacles, that
Yeah, it's
earthy,
always the money. Yeah.
creative, security, the money. Then I did get the Tower. It became too
Wow.
much. Ten of
Yeah.
Wands. It was a burden. That's interesting. He would set his guitar on fire. Her dress is on fire. That was kind of interesting. And then the Seven of Wands, being
Uh-huh.
defensive, trying to protect his privacy, his secrets, and everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so
Same
yeah,
one I got. Yeah. Wow. At Woodstock, I remember him. Wasn't it him that played the Star
the Star
Spangled
Spangled
Banner?
Banner. Yep.
Oh my God, it was beautiful. I thought it was wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can
John
see
McClane's
this. I
Vincent.
can see him guiding other musicians as they come over
Hmm.
to welcome them in.
There
Um,
was another. I can't think of the name, but I know that there was, within, was it last year or so? I heard another medium talking about her experiences. She was living on the streets, because she had to leave the foster home that she
uh-huh.
was at. She was being abused and stuff, and she got on the streets. And back then, she was too young enough. She didn't know who Jimi Hendrix was. And she said
Oh,
a spirit of this, black man had come to her and said, "Listen, this isn't safe. You need to, get up off the
oh,
streets. You have a gift. You have a purpose. you have to pull your
Yep.
life around. So for her, this was, a spirit guide. All she knew, he was a spirit guide helping her. And it wasn't
Yep.
until she later on that she had went to a friend's house, and there on the wall was a poster of Jimi Hendrix, and she goes, "Oh my God, that's him."
That's him.
So he's either looking after a lot of children who are on the streets, because I guess he had a rough childhood possibly too,
Yep.
and he wanted to be there to be a guide to help others. So even in spirit, he's still,
Yep.
helping and
He's
guiding.
still being busy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
Jim Croce. Yes, we
yeah,
lost Jim
I
Croce.
thought of Jim Crow. He's not on the list, but I know he wasn't much older than
No,
27 when he
plane
died.
crash. The
Yeah.
guys from
Yep.
Leonard Skinner,
Yep.
they were still
Yep.
relatively very young.
So there's a couple of shows. Craig mentioned the song Vincent by Don McLean.
McLean,
And
yeah.
I found a couple of in documentaries. I found one on American Pie where they talk about how that song and how everybody knows all the words to it even now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw one also on Jim Croce, and I remember seeing one on, oh God, it's another artist, but just dig around sometimes on Amazon Prime or something and see if you can find them. They're fascinating. And yeah, it's just, yeah, Prince. I know Shawwoman. They were talking about Prince earlier. Yes. And Lennon was only 40.
40,
I know.
yeah. It's
And
just it's mind
it's
blowing.
amazing. I know. It's amazing that these things.
And like earlier, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, they were just,
Yep.
up and coming. Big, was it not Big Papa?
Big Papa. Big
Yeah.
Papa. Yeah.
Chantilly lace and everything. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it's like, oh, the airplanes.
I know, but you know what? I just read
Aaliyah.
the other night that, somebody was told not to go because it was too cold. I don't know if it was them, but there was another
Yeah.
one. And they're in these teeny tiny planes, and it's,
Mhm.
the weather's not good. Hello? Do you need to
That
have
was Richie Valens and them. They actually did
yeah,
a toss who was going to go
yeah,
in the plane, and the
uh-huh.
one guy, yeah, no, Richie, you got my seat. So he stayed behind, and it was just a few minutes after takeoff that,
That they crashed, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
and I think Carol Lombard died in a plane crash as well too, if I
I think she
remember.
did.
Craig would probably know. Yes, also Craig. Patsy Cline. Oh, my dad loved Patsy Cline. I can't
Yeah,
not hear her song and not think of my papa, when I
sure,
hear Patsy
sure.
Cline. But
Wow.
yeah.
Well, if you would like to have we're going to be opened up for questions, and you're welcome to ask questions about musicians if you wish,
Mm-hmm.
or people that have passed, or you can just ask regular questions. That's fine. Heather and I just really wanted to start with something new and interesting. And if you hadn't
Yeah,
heard about
something fresh.
the 27 club of people that have artists that passed at the age of 27, again, there's 54 of them that I have been able to find. There may be even more. And of course, there were a lot around that age or just a little bit older that also passed.
Yeah,
And
especially
so,
with Stevie Ray Vaughan. He just got himself cleaned up. He was getting back into his music. He was forging ahead, and then that damn plane crash.
yep, yep. And Lawrence says it was Waylon Jennings that did not
Jennings.
get the seat. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's
Yeah, please
just
don't fly in
amazing.
Cessnas on really bad weather days. Not a good idea.
We moved back to here in 2009, and I think it was like 3 weeks before we moved here, we actually had a plane crash that been making news. A lot of the family survivors were trying to get laws, because a lot of these pilots aren't being trained properly. The Cessnas are
Mhm,
not being properly maintained,
mhm.
and we had a flight coming in out of Buffalo International Airport. They were like 2 minutes. The whole flight went smoothly. They were in 2 minutes. They went to go ahead, take the plane off of autopilot, and they just weren't trained, I guess, properly, from what I understand. And
Mhm.
ice had formed on the wings, and
Yeah,
the plane just crashed right into a residential area. One individual in his home got killed, and everybody on the plane, died. It was horrific. So it's
yeah.
been close to 13 years. But, with anything else, they really need to start properly taking care of our infrastructure. our planes, everything.
And they are
they're
trying
moving.
to. Yeah, they are trying to.
But
Of
they have
course,
had
there's a lot of
laws passed
resistance. Yeah.
because of the death of these. Unfortunately, these family members, the family members still alive, are always going to courts, trying to get laws passed, and they've been successful with
Uh-huh.
some of them. So
Yeah. So Craig says 1942, close to Searchlight, Nevada, Carol Lombard. Yep. I think that was
he went into a
Clark
mountain.
Gable's like favorite wife, I guess is the best word to say. Yeah.
Yeah, there
All
was
right.
too much snow and whatever, and they didn't see the mountain. And before it was too late, they didn't have enough time to pull up the plane, and they went right into the mountain. And people are still finding some debris after all
Yep.
these years that they go hiking.
Oh,
It's creepy. It's sad. It's just, you
yeah.
know.
So Stevie Ray Vaughan always knew he was going to die young. A book I read was interesting. There are people that really do feel that way. There really are. There are people
Lisa
that
Left Eye had a feeling.
had a
She
feeling
went to
too.
South America she felt she needed to reconnect spiritually with herself, and
Yeah.
after the accident, everybody survived. It was I think a Jeep, and she was the only one that perished. And so, but yeah, I think she knew too that her time was.
Yeah.
Okay, so Amy now.
So Amy wonders, Amy is trying to raise money to move to England, and she did send me, I think it was a GoFundMe. I'm trying to think if it was GoFundMe or PayPal. Anyway, if you're wanting to know more about that, I'm going to post it on my community board if you want to donate to Amy's trip. But let's go ahead and pull some cards on it. And thanks everybody for your input on the singers today.
But definitely keep the conversation going. This is what started today's live. So if anybody has, musicians music that they love that, left. Oh, I just had, she jumped in my head again, and I keep, the one that they made the movie, Diana Ross starred in it. She played her.
Where you going to?
Yes.
That one? Yeah.
Yes.
Lady Sings the Blues. Yes. And it was, what's her name from back in the 20s, wasn't it? She was a beautiful black singer.
I can't think of her name. It's like leaving me.
I'll think of it. I just can't think of it right now. She was a very big heroin addict.
Unfortunately.
Right? Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Or yeah. Yeah.
Somebody help me in the chat. Billie Holiday. Thank you, Craig.
All right. Billie Holiday. We knew Craig could come through. Thank you, dear.
Thank you, Craig. Sometimes when you're on the spot, you're just like, everything just like shuts right down. It's like, oh, man.
Okay, so you do have a GoFundMe. Okay, good. Amy, I'll put it up on the show link after we're done. Good luck, though. And we pulled some cards here. Judy Garland. Yeah, she was about 50. Wasn't she about
went 50? Through a hell of a lot at the hands of the men in show business. What they did to these young women, like, yeah, that's a whole nother show. It was just awful how, body image, telling Judy Garland, to play Dorothy, she was too fat, and these comments and things. I mean, it was just, it's horrendous.
All right. So I pulled some cards that are kind of fun. They're from the, I haven't used them much, Inspirational Visions deck. And they're kind of like, they're oracle cards, and they are kind of like storytelling in some ways because they have little pieces of story in here. The first one I get is Peaceful Garden, Amy. Peaceful Garden, sending healing thoughts. So this is where you want to go. This is what you want to do. And I think going there is going to be a healing experience for you. So I think that the universe wants to place you there. And it says here, make you have happy endings. So the lovers here shows up. So I think that people who love you are going to be able to support you going and making that happen. And I get Pan and the Magic Flute. Wow. And it says here, listen to the lilting music of Pan. In other words, follow along, do what you got to do, and hopefully by September things will be okay. There you go.
Yeah. Alrighty. Amy, I'm using my Wisdom of Oracle. I got the Yang card, which is the masculine energy. And I just wanted to grab just a couple keywords with this one here. And it says the masculine creative principle of movement and creative activity, the power to make things happen, taking action. That's what you're doing. You're
Mm-hmm.
starting your fund, and it's also remind you find creative ways to be able to raise money, and not just necessarily raising money, maybe looking for connections, um, people who um, may have a oh, what was it that I'm looking for? It's kind of like when you networking, basically. One person might say, "Hey, I know somebody who has a place here that you don't have to worry about money," or I may have someone here that says the rent is really cheap. It's a nice place, or a couple wants someone to stay at their house. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
try to stay out of the box. Try to think out of the box and not so much financial, but just put it all out there in general creative energy. The next card too is breathe. Things will happen in time because it says time for a nap. So it may take you a little while, but
Mm-hmm.
just breathe. Know that you're creatively acting towards making this happen. And then on the bottom, I got the loyal heart card, which
Mm.
is you just stay true to what it is that you want, and eventually you will get there. Right now it's hard to tell time with cards, but from here it's just, I think for me the strongest is just breathe. I know you really want to go, you've been talking about this for a year, and like it says, time for a nap. It's going to take some time, so just allow things to um, come together naturally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
you'll
Thank
get
you,
there.
Sherry, for putting up the GoFundMe link. If people want to donate to Amy's cause, then please do. Yeah. So Joybird wonders, is it a good idea for her to go on an Alaskan cruise in August? Oh my
Oh
God.
God, initially me, I'd be like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah. Before winter, definitely. Of course, winter they don't have them, but okay. So.
I think I'll stick with these cards today. This is a good energy. Joybird. I don't know if I ever met Joybird, so it's nice to meet you. It's a new name to me,
Yeah.
and I
I
love the
haven't
little
seen
tie here.
Joybird for a while, and
Mm,
she's just wonderful. It's nice to have you back.
Cruise. This is a good.
Oh my goodness. Joybird wrote her friend's daughter was killed in a car accident as a teenager. When they went to her room,
Mm,
they found a sheet of paper that said, typewritten, that said, God's will be done. Oh my God. God's will be done. That's like unsolved mysteries to me.
mm,
Wow. It's amazing. Wow.
this is interesting.
What you got, Heather?
Hmm. It's like two contradictory cards. Let me see if I can get. I'm going to see if I can get a clarifier for the last one.
Okay.
So if you have cards
Yep.
first.
Let's see. I'm doing some. The first card I pulled is abundance is near. So I'm getting that you'll have the money to do it. Let me pull some other ones.
Hmm. Well, that one didn't help either.
Maybe it's too early to know.
Um, yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead. I got the Observer card. So
Oh.
this is a card saying basically you're observing possibly, can I financially do this? Is this a good time? Um, Resources, timing with family. It's just this card with the fox, looking up at the moon. It's like making sure that everything is in place. Sometimes the moon has to deal with things that we can't see. Also, for me, the moon also represents intuition. So, with the card being called Observer, I'm feeling more like, observe how you're feeling. What is your intuition telling you? Because and this is where maybe Allie, I could get your help on this one.
Okay.
I got time to go, which seems like, yeah, great time to go. But then the card after that was not for you. So I don't know if this
Oh.
is her going back and forth. Do I go? Do I not go? And then I asked for a
Shall I stay
clarifier.
or shall I go now?
Yeah, exactly. And then the
Oh.
clarifier I asked for, not for you, is a leg up. So I'm wondering if
Oh.
this is just her saying, okay, is this the right time for me to go? But then in
Right.
the flow, it says, not quite yet, and a leg up, which means you might need to save up a little more. You might, have to,
Yeah.
um, you know, wait a little longer to make the plan, whether it be financially, other things going on in family, other personal, um, I can't think of the word, um, other, things that you already made plans for,
Hmm.
responsibilities. So, yeah, I'm thinking that this is something that you really want to do, but possibly take a step back, and just make sure that, um, you have enough before you go. That
Okay.
everything's
So
all
they want
set.
to know, they'd like to know what deck that is, if you could
This
tell us.
is, I think I'm going to keep using this one. I like this one today. The energy feels good. Wisdom of the
Oh,
Oracle
Wisdom of the Oracle.
by Colette Baron Reed. Yeah, yeah. I have like 5 different decks that were like, I
Oh,
had
I
to
have
bring
I
to
have
the
a whole
table.
bunch here too. I understand. I can't remember all their names.
So I
So
hope that
what,
helps, Joybird.
Joybird, I see that you wrote here, you will be on the cruise. Okay.
Oh,
It's
okay.
slow moving. So I think she got that too. I think that Heather got something like that, that it will be a little bit slow moving. Is there a man involved? Are you bringing your husband or another male with you? And I'm seeing here that your announcements being made. So I think that you're going to be telling us you're going. I just think it may take some time. And of course, August is a little ways off. So, yeah. Okay.
But it sounds beautiful.
It does sound beautiful.
And look
Yeah.
at, I got that card again.
Which one?
I just was shuffling,
Oh,
thinking about her, and that
okay.
time to go again. So I think it will, but like Alex said, it might take a little longer. But
I take a little longer. Yep.
yeah,
But
that's weird.
then
Well,
again,
yeah.
we have a little bit of time before that comes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Craig is telling a lot in the chat, and it's very interesting, Craig. I'm not ignoring you. That you're speaking a lot about how these moguls that of the past used women,
Oh my
basically.
God, they still do, but very
On
differently.
the casting couch and what he would do and what they would do, and
Yeah.
um, I'm sure there's still some of that going on. As a matter of fact, I think that Brooke Shields said that happened
Oh
with
my
Harvey
God.
Weinstein. So we're still dealing with some of these yo-yos, and I don't know.
Mm.
They just don't seem to go away very fast. So,
And Joybird said she's going with Susan Geisman. I actually know who that
oh,
is. She is a
okay,
former, commander, in the military. She had one
oh,
of the highest positions in the Navy,
uh-huh,
and, at one point she realized, I'm connecting with spirit, what's going on. And when she retired, she started tapping again to her abilities, and she has a YouTube. She has some books, and she goes and does,
all
cruises and
right,
tours. So yeah.
wonderful. Well, I think that I'm glad you brought that here. If this woman is a military person, she might have a lot of male energy. That might be what the fake, why it showed up a male. But very cool, very cool. And she has a YouTube channel. I'm going to have to check her
Yeah,
out.
she had one of the highest ranks that you can
Did
have in
she?
the military. She was a commander or something, lieutenant commander or something like that. And
Okay.
when she retired, she's like, well, I know what they may think of me, but now that I'm retired, I'm going to pursue my gifts.
Oh
And that's
yeah,
what
Joy
she's
Bird.
doing.
I know you'll have a great time. And of course, living in Seattle, I don't like cruises at all, but I would go on that one. I think up to
Hmm.
Alaska. They tell me it's a
Yeah, she's
wonderful
got
cruise.
good energy,
Yeah,
Susan. I like her.
that's great. All right, so we have one from Patricia. She says her ceiling in the apartment leaked after a major storm. Is it dangerous to live here? Or ask management to let me out of the lease without financial penalty in 90 days to get another apartment? They will fix the roof issue, though.
Sounds like my situation almost.
That's what started my problem with my roof last year, was the leaking. I'm just concerned if it's maybe been leaking before and it has some mold in there. You got mold issues you got to worry about. But let's pull some cards and see what it says. Yeah. Sorry that happened.
Yeah, I know that all too well.
I think she just moved there not too long ago. So.
I'm going to change decks. This isn't going to give me what I need.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool, Ann, about Susan Geisman. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, mold can make you sick. You don't need that problem, Patricia. No. A lead line has to be repaired? Really? So they have to open up the wall where the lead is. I don't know how I feel about that. Wow. Plus, you're going to be inconvenienced forever and ever with this thing. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if the answer's here.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go, and Patricia, this is just what I'm getting from my 3 cards. As always, this is just what I'm getting, and not necessarily what you should do, but I'm getting blended pleasure. I'm getting the 4 of Cups. Like, you are not being, they're not listening to your, there's just too many things here that need to be fixed, and you're dissatisfied with everything that's going on. I mean, here we got the cups, we got, the lead, we've got the ceiling, we have you wine. I mean, it's just, it's just right there, obviously, in the cards. Then I got the 8 of Swords, shortened for, so you're feeling trapped. Like, what do I do? Which way do I go? And then I got material gain. So for me, this feels like looking for another place, and possibly getting a hold of your local housing authority and presenting them with, this is where I'm living, this is what I'm going through. Can you recommend a free lawyer that can maybe represent me, and approach the management and say, listen, these things are not being taken care of. I'm concerned for my health. There's lead, there's possible mold. They're not properly taking care of this place. I have.
Well, they want to fix it. She said they're going to fix it, but okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just feeling like.
But there is an inconvenience. Yeah, there is inconvenience, definitely.
So that might be something you might want to get a hold of, is the authority, and see, if they can connect you to a lawyer and let you know what your rights are, and maybe, if you can find another place, if you're not happy there, because that first card shows that you're very displeased. You don't want, it's just like, yeah, we'll fix it, but you're like, no, this is taking too long. There's too many other things, and being, feeling like you're trapped. This might be a way to go, and then, move forward from there.
So the first card I got was a should I card, and it says to proceed slowly. So if you're going to, check in whether they'll go with the lease thing or whatever, they'll just make sure that you've covered your bases, because this is going to be a bit of an energy suck. It's there's a lot of negative people probably around this, and so I don't know. It's not connected to the housing authority. Okay, there's no mold. It's coming from the roof later this week. It's a pipeline fix. Okay, so but it's very definitely an inconvenience. Very definitely. And it's telling me, of course, it was a sudden event. So I don't know, proceeding slowly seems right. Maybe this will take care of the issue, Patricia. If they get up there and they work, and that lead line is up on the roof and not anywhere near your interior, you're just getting the remnants of the drip. it might be okay. It might be okay. But listen to your gut. If you really feel like you need to make a change, and you don't want to stay there because it may happen again, then maybe you want to check into,
And housing
talking.
authority is a government program. It's just somebody you could call in case you need advice. You
Mhm,
just say,
mhm.
what kind of advice can you give me? They might be able to give you some pamphlets so that you
Yeah.
know what renters' rights are, things
Uh-huh.
like that. So they
They
don't have to
might
initially be brought into it, but
they might be able to put you in another apartment too,
yes.
because the noise level may be, while they're fixing it, may be a pain.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dear. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope that they at least put you up, let's say in a motel or hotel or something while they're working on it. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I know what's like
I know.
with this
Yep.
place.
Yep. So I don't see any other questions up here. If anybody has any questions they'd like to throw up, that's fine. Or we could read more on some of these artists, these musicians. We could read on Prince if you want. You want to read on
Oh, I
Prince?
would love to read on
All right. Why don't
Prince.
we read on Prince? Because that's your fave.
Oh, what
What do
I
you want to
yeah.
know? What do you want to know?
Um well, he was so much about, for me, the song that connects me with Prince is Let's Go Crazy, about, in this life you're on your own. It's like live life, love it, celebrate it.
Uh-huh.
I would like to see if he has a similar,
Yeah.
message, that
Uh-huh.
now that he's on the other side, is he, continuing living that life, is he
Mhm.
still making his music, is he still bringing that same type of positive energy and joy to everybody on the other side like he did on this side.
Okay. And yes, and we will answer your question when we're done with this one, which is
Cool, Jimmy. Nice.
about Prince. So my favorite Prince song is Red
Or
Raspberry Beret.
oh,
That's
red.
mine.
Oh,
I
yes.
love Raspberry Beret. Anyway, so this came up. You are the Rainbow Bridge. I mean, I can just, that's what I'm getting. Like he's just floating through. He was very colorful. He used to dress, impeccably, the way he dressed and everything. He was fashionable, and he's just being that way over there. I can just see him walk the way he struts and things. He had too much high vibrational living, he said. He loved his life, and he wanted to make sure. I believe he left a lot of music behind that no one has done anything or they're working on right now. And he wanted to get that down because he wasn't sure how long he had. After losing his baby, that really, really, really was tough for him. The last one is, he says, I should have practiced more self-love. I didn't I took care of myself, but not in the ways that I should have taken care of myself. And I believe that, didn't he take some kind of a drug before he died?
Yeah, because what people didn't know and I didn't know is that he had, I don't know if it was an accident or something, but he had a bad back, and because he
Okay.
was short, he still wore those boots to give him a little bit
Yep.
of a lift, and he would jump and stuff, and that was damaging his back.
Sure.
And
Sure.
to take care of the pain, his doctors put him on, opioids,
Right.
and
Right.
that was what basically did him in, is these doctors again still over prescribing the opioids.
Uh-huh. Wow.
For
Um,
me, I got something a little different, and this is something that was going on in his life. um, with the wealth, he it was wealthy, there was money, but then I got these two cards. Now, if anybody remembers Justice, he was having a fight with this record company because they were trying, he didn't like what they were like, making so much money off of his name. They were trying to take his rights to his own music, and he actually stopped going by Prince and it was going by that symbol, if people can
right.
remember. It was
Yep.
his way of trying to go against the establishment, and this is the
Hmm.
emperor. So he was very strong, he was very firm, but this also to me represents the establishment he was going after, because he would write slave and everything on his face, because he was trying to get people aware that these record companies were just absolutely taking all, their money. A lot of these musicians, they have, triple platinum albums, and then, they get their royalties, and they only get what, a measly little bit, and they're like, well, where did all the money go? And it's to, record companies, video producers, production, all of that. So he was really fighting against his record label and did that. But now, he says on the other side, by fighting, he felt, it gave him some valor to help support other people, and continuing with Princess. Again, I got Princess of Pentacles. So there's
Wow.
that young, creative, earthy, very, grounded and stable, moving forward, new ideas, new projects. He's still inspiring. And the last card was pleasure. He's guiding the younger generation also on earth with musicians and to their music. So yeah, he's just very proud that he stuck by his guns when he was alive. He let people know what was what, and he wasn't going to be used by them, and to continue supporting the musicians, the young musicians, not just young, but all the up and coming musicians.
Yeah. Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So Anne wonders about a message from Jimi Hendrix in terms of what he thinks about the music scene right now, which is a great question. Thank you. What he thinks of the music scene.
Okay. Changing decks here. And Jimi Hendrix is a Sagittarian, just like me. Woohoo, for the Sages. Sorry, I put that little plug in there.
That's okay. So I pulled a postcards from Spirit. I just thought that might be fun to see what he might say. And it says, do you ever wonder whether your ideas and inspiration might be coming through your soul rather than generated from your mind? We are here to tell you we are always whispering in your ear about your highest good. And we are conduits for Spirit, letting you know you're a living channel for this awesome co-creative energy.
Yes.
When you are feeling inspired, it means you heard us. Inspiration means Spirit is breathing through you. It needs your human passion to keep it going so that you can make differences in the world. So keep moving on what inspires you. Let yourself be led into new experiences and know this is why you are on Earth. Your purpose is to discover your spirited nature and to bring forth your efforts, whatever it is meant to be. Miracles have found a way of showing up. You are so, so loved. I think it's fabulous. My feeling is that he wants people to know, the young artists to know, just remember you are not the creator of everything, that it is co-created, and your inspiration is being whispered in your ear. I love that. That is so fabulous, because a lot of people think, oh my, oh
so
wow, absolutely. Yeah.
So I got the Three of Cups. Celebration, coming together, emotional celebration, connecting emotions, intuition, spirit, co-creating. Yeah, I have my little helper here with me right now. Be patient. And then I got Nine of Pentacles, taking in, that wealth, that joy, that celebration. And then the last one I pull off the bottom was the Knight of Wands, that fiery, creative energy. Yeah.
Wow.
Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do what you
can't do anything.
Music.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because now in these days people are starting their own record companies, like Ani DeFranco did in Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
She started her own record label, so she wouldn't have to answer to other companies, all her money. So there's so many different ways now for musicians to be able to create, to share files, to there's just so much more.
And there's a lot of fancy technological stuff that can be used that wasn't used before, wasn't able to be used before. So how fabulous. Yeah. Thank you.
But
Thanks,
I love that
Anne.
Magician card. We did have another question. I didn't know if you saw it. Amy wanted.
Amy, I got, and I have that. And Craig just wanted us to thank Elvis Presley. You thank him, dear. He's listening.
Yes. Oh, he's out there. Goodness. Yes.
I know. Yes. He's listening to you. Fabulous. So I'll pull up Amy's. Yep. You're welcome, Anne. Thank you. All right, little reading on George Harrison will lead us out of this wonderful collaboration today. And I just want to say thank you to everybody, including my
Yes.
moderators here. Thank you to Heather for being here today.
Thank you for.
And don't die with the music in you, is what I want to say. So let's see what George has to say. Oh, you have a great connection with him? That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Ooh. Okay, now be patient.
Melinda, what? I don't know. I don't know what you mean. Don't die with the music in you. Make sure you sing your song. Make sure you leave the world, leave a mark on the world that you live in. Is that what you're asking? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, Cloud Nine was an incredible album, and it's just it's sad, but it's also fascinating that if anyone ever never had a chance to listen to the Traveling Wilburys.
Oh my God! I just was going to say that. That's my favorite. I love them.
Petty, George Harrison.
Oh,
Roy
Orbison. Roy. Oh, I love his
still
voice.
with us is Bob
Jeff
Dylan
Lynne.
and the dude from ELO.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but what a great collaboration, of artists. That's some
Linda,
great
you
music.
can put your question up, honey. It's just we're coming up on the hour, so we wanted to make sure that we. Yeah, go ahead and put it in, Melinda. All right. All right. So George Harrison. Oh my God, a gift to the world. He definitely was a gift to the world. He says that he is being rewarded. I think I'm feeling he joined the group in the rock and roll heaven, and he's being rewarded for all the work he did down here on Earth. Honestly, because he was just a miraculous person. He says, while I'm up here, I have to cut distractions out because there's so many wonderful singers that I can go and talk to and listen to that sometimes I have to put on my headphones because I just can't listen to everybody at the same time. And he says he's working something out. I'm feeling like he might come back. He's working on his next soul journey, I think. But he's happy as heck up there. Honestly, he really loves it there.
Wow. Well, this is interesting. We decided to use the Muse Tarot, and the first card that came out, I really wasn't surprised, the Hermit, because in life he became, connected with Buddhism, or was it Hinduism?
I think his was more Hinduism.
More Hindu, but he took more time. He needed to go into reflection. He needed to discover himself more, because at one point the music business, I got the double card. It just was, he was seeing too much darkness. He needed more spiritual, to combat, what he saw that was, basically evil and dark in the business. The Three of Emotions, celebrating his accomplishments, also celebrating, and not just accomplishments, but the joy, because Three of Emotions is such a joyful inspiration, and a lot of his work too, with with the moon and with the waters. For him, everything was very divinely guided, spiritually motivated. And with the Seven of Inspiration, which would be the Seven of Swords, he was dealing with a lot of mental, kind of, for me, this is him there saying, people coming in and saying, this is what you should sound like, this is what you should be doing, here, have another drink. It was all of that negativity that he really had to work on, saying, no, I'm keeping that all at arm's length. This is how I'm moving forward with my life. And then the perfect card to end is the Muse of Inspiration of Wands, just beautifully guided, inspired, moving towards, that pyramid, the knowledge, the connection again with spirit, and just the fire coming out of the hands. So yeah, just that, keep that divine inspiration going. And he never lost it. Not even to the end. He stayed true to his music and what he wanted to sing and write about. So
yeah. That's fabulous. All right, so I do have two questions, Melinda's and Thomas Tarot your way. So I'll take them for now. I didn't know that they were there. Let me go on to Melinda's first. Melinda says, question, when I say love, my heart feels like the rays off of the sun. Is there a message from spirit for her? Ooh, I love that. That's beautiful, Melinda. Wow.
Is there a message? I'm looking at my cards. Yeah, let's go to this one.
All right. So I'm pulling the synchronicity deck, Melinda. The first thing I get is you are a child of God and you are very, very loved. I also know how much you are concerned and love your grandchildren. So I also can feel that card wants to make mention of that. Look at the kitty cat. But you are held in the arms of God. And so if your heart feels like the rays of the sun, you must feel nice and warm sitting there in the hands of God. And this speeds up for you sometimes. Things will speed up for you and are coming up for you very, very quickly. So be ready for them. They want you to know to be ready for what's coming. There's some wildness that's going on. And look, there's the sun.
Well, yeah.
The sun is there. Yep. The sun's making its notice. And I get the last card I get, Melinda, is remain strong. Keep your strength up. You are like a willow. You bend in the wind and allow whatever comes in love to feed you.
And when you mentioned the willow, it made me think of the Stevie Nicks song where she's from the song Stand Back, where she says, like a willow, I can bend. You know, she's that strong.
Yeah.
So Melinda, I got, and it just goes right with Allie's first card. I got peace.
No.
That you are peace. You want nothing but peace. You don't want fighting. You don't want any confrontation. You're always promoting peace. I mean, look in your picture. She's going like this. She's giving the peace. Yep. So you're all about peace. And I got, again, a leg up. And I'm feeling, for me, this is like your grandkids, anybody. You give them a little leg up. You're there to help support them. And this is beautiful, too. And you said in the hands of God. I got the yin card again, the male energy. And it was like almost like the flower, like one of your cards, Allie. When I saw that, I was like, oh, there's another blooming flower. So I went ahead and ended up grabbing accidentally from a different deck, which is weird. I wasn't using this one, but I did pull the bottom card and I got the Empress again. So you are a mother. You're connected to nature, the earth, the universe. You're like all of us. We're divine feminine. We're divine goddess. So that's just,
and look at the rays of the sun. The rays of the sun are right there in the middle. Wow. Yes. That's awesome.
Yep.
Wow, Melinda. You are divinely loved, Melinda. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. All right. Thomas, tarot your way. We're going to end with Thomas today then. He'd love a message from Cass Elliot. And I love Cass Elliot. My favorite one is her song, There's a New World Coming. And it's coming, this one's coming to an end. And honestly, it's a 5D song, I think. So I would love to read on Cass Elliot from the Mamas and the Papas. Yeah. Richard Rogers, Oscar Hammerstein. Oh, yeah. All those songs.
Yeah, one of my favorite songs from the 60s was California Dreamin'.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah.
It gives me goosebumps when I think about it. That's the power of music. That's what I love.
Yep. Brings you back. A lot of people don't know that song that I mentioned. It was right before she died, not far from there. But she believed that there was a new world coming. A world of hope, a world of, lots of beautiful words. Wow. Okay. So I got cast living in a world of duality. That's 3D world. And I think she was criticized so much at the time for her weight. And, she was, and no one's getting fat except Mama Cass. Remember that part of the song? And so she had to live in this dual world, and it wasn't pleasant for her. I don't think. I think she just dealt with it at the time, but it was harassment. And she said she was seeking to find the beauty in the world and bring it to others, and she felt picked on, and so it was very difficult for her. But she said she did find serendipity, and I think when she did her solo career, she did enjoy that time singing and working with her on stage by herself and bringing her message to the world. She says she spent a lot of time up there healing, and she's hoping to come back soon because, she needed the healing from what had happened to her on Earth.
Yeah. This is what, yeah. Three of inspiration, which would be Three of Wands. So she had this world, how she saw the world, and how, how she saw and how she wanted her music and what she wanted the music to express. And also, like you said, looking forward into the future, hoping that there would be more love, there would be less war, there would be a lot less hate.
Mm-hmm.
The domino, effect, hoping to be able to inspire others. Page of materials, which would be Page of Pentacles. This is coming up a lot today. Just, with this one here is feeling more connected to Earth, blossoming, being who you are, recognizing your potential and exploring it. Because during life, I did get Five of Voices, which would be the Five of Swords. And at that time, and this is supposed to be like an olive branch for peace. So love how they put meditating, trying to meditate, trying to distract yourself from what negative things people were saying about her, while still being able to deliver the message of peace. And I think this is really coming strong through, that this is what is reflecting what's going on today as well.
Mm-hmm.
Five of Emotions, Five of Cups, the sadness, everything that she went through, nothing she tried. They all had their vices, trying to cover up the pain, what people would say to her. I mean, just completely emotionally drained at times. But then I
Yep.
also got the Page of Emotions, and the heart has two little stingers in it. It looks like something it's kind of hard to see but you can see the two like dashes
Oh
in her
yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, even with her heart broken, with her being stunned by words that people said, she still loved. There's the heart, there's the red, there's the creativity, but the emotions, letting your creativity through, feeling your emotions. Don't be afraid to feel them. Our emotions are power. They can guide us, they can inspire us, they can heal us.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
those are the cards
Beautiful,
and
Heather.
the messages I'm getting.
Thank you. Very beautiful. Oh, I had so much fun. Thank you for
Me
being
too.
here with me today.
Thank you
Yeah.
for having me. And thank you,
I
everybody,
know.
for
Anytime
joining
there's
us.
music or art, Heather's right
Mm-hmm.
there. And
Oh, my
so
goodness. Yes. Most definitely.
so yes, I'm happy that we have this time to be together, and we'll be together again on Sisters of the
Wednesday.
Mystical Tarot on Wednesday.
Yes.
Just come by and see us at
It's
4
going to be
o'clock
on
Pacific.
Ivana's channel.
On Ivana's, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Yes.
Yes.
You're welcome. Thank you, Shaw Woman.
Yes. Thank
Take
you,
care,
everybody.
everybody. Thank you. God
Have a
bless you.
beautiful
Thanks,
day.
Heather.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.